I know this affects pretty much every New Zealander. My mother had lung cancer in 2020, so to still have her here alive today and on the sidelines of my netball games, it's something that I'll forever treasure. The symbol of the daffodil is very similar to how I feel about the silver fern. By buying one daffodil, you're wrapping your arms around a whole community, a whole whānau, and offering to help, so many people.
Jackie Robertson, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you.
Wow, what a journey. So we're recording this in between chemo weeks.
Yeah, I have chemo every second week. I go in on a Wednesday and they put the first lot through an IV and then I'm in there for about 2 hours and then I wear a little, it looks like a baby bottle, all wired up because it's got a port here, it's where it goes in here, so it's permanently like a little area there, all wired up for another 46 hours with just a slow release chemo. So yeah, every 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll get into all of that and what chemo means exactly, because you've been really good at sharing this stuff on Instagram, and it's I think it's quite good at demystifying things. Like, it's quite different from what we see in the movies.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe in the movies are how chemo was in the 80s or 90s, but it feels like it's come a long way.
Yeah.
But yeah, first of all, take us back to late October 2023. So you run a marathon a couple of weeks before that.
Yeah, I was...
You're going for a blood test?
Crazy runner. Yeah, I always do routine bloods because I don't have a thyroid, and when you exercise that much, and I just think anyone should have yearly bloods. It's just a no-brainer. You know, go to your doctor, get yearly... Hi, Kanye.
Here he is. It's probably a good time for the dog to arrive just before we get into the heavy stuff. Hello. Hello. Yes. Okay. So you weren't feeling unwell or anything.
No,
it was just a.
I was angry because it was the Hawke's Bay, and I only did a half at that day because I was like, oh, it's a bit boring, the Hawke's Bay one. It's all flash, and I love the Rotorua Marathon. I love going around that lake. And I thought I'll do the half, and I had my time, and I wanted to beat my PB, and I was minute 50 off, and I was really angry. I was so angry with myself, but I'd trained. I was doing 80k a week. I was doing 3 gym sessions as well. I'd put it down to I overtrained, and I didn't recover as quick as I normally did, but I just thought overtraining. So I went in, because my doctor, I get on really well, so she's incredible, and I sent her a message going, I need a vitamin B12 infusion. I say this every year to her, and she goes, well, you're due for your bloods, come in. So I went in, and she goes, I'm not doing it, we'll do your bloods, full bloods. And then she got them back, and she's like, your liver enzymes are high. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? She goes, oh, I don't know, let's test more for hepatitis. And I was thinking, oh, fuck, hepatitis. Now I'm like, why couldn't it have been hepatitis? So, yeah, we did a full bloods then. That came back negative. And to be honest, I've said this to her when I've seen her, and she hates me saying it, I owe her my life because she didn't settle for that. She could have said, let's wait 3 months and see if it's settled, ease off your training. But she said, no, I want a scan. Let's go in for an ultrasound. The rest of my bloods were fine. Everything else, it was just my liver. God, he's cute. And she sent me in for an ultrasound and then rang me 2 hours later, said, I need you to come in. So I rang Mum and I was like, panicked because I was like, holy shit. And Mum's like, we know something's up with your liver because you had liver enzymes. So we went in and she was, cleared. My doctor was talking to me, and I said to her, she showed me the scan, and I've actually got photos if I can show you. It was a mess, my liver. You just saw these dark spots they were light spots on the ultrasound, I think. And I said, what's that? And she goes, you got fluffies there. And I'm like, well, what are fluffies? And she's like, it looks like tumours. And I said, is this cancer? And she goes, it looks like cancer, but let's send you to a specialist. And then within a week, I was in at a specialist, and then they wanted to do a biopsy on they did a CT scan, and then they wanted to do a biopsy on the biggest tumour, and the biggest tumour in my liver is 10 centimetres, so it was big.
Oh, that's massive.
It was big.
So when you so this is just like your local GP.
Yep.
So when she says it could be cancer, it looks like cancer, what then? Does it feel like you're about to faint? Does the
I
room
still was
spin?
in denial because I don't have a thyroid, and of course Dr. Google, I'd been on Google and it said you can get these like tumours in your liver from thyroid because I had too much thyroxine, and I just thought maybe it's that. And you just think because Mum's had cancer twice. And I'm thinking, no, we've had our share, and I had, like our family's got a lot of cancer in it.
Yeah, but also if you're incredibly fit and healthy.
And like I'd just finished running. I was doing, exercise. Like my liver, for instance, I've never smoked, never done drugs, very rarely drink. I'm so bloody clean, I squeak. And I think, how can my liver be wrong? How can it have all these issues? So I was a wee bit in denial. Long story, went in for a biopsy. Mum came in with me and they did this monster needle and they put it in and took tissue out from the biggest tumour. And then I just thought, right, he said it'll take, was it about a week, he said? Yeah, and I went back, just went on life as normal. And then I was at work one day and got a phone call and it was my specialist. And he's like, oh, can you talk? And I thought, it's not cancer, because he would ask me to come in. And I said, yeah, I'll just go outside. So I walk outside my office, and I was working at Shoof International then, and walked outside, and he goes, oh, I've actually got COVID, so I can't bring you into the office. And I just thought, oh, shit. And he said, okay, it's come back. And I actually thought then it's liver cancer. And then he said, the biopsy has shown it's colon cancer, so bowel cancer that has spread to the liver. And because of Mum, I knew once it had spread, you're at stage 4. And I collapsed. Do you see it on movies, people's legs give way? It's never happened to me. I collapsed on the ground and everything was spinning, and I actually pulled my phone. I texted my amazing workmate and I said, outside now, or some gibberish, and she come running out, and her husband had gone through colon cancer, so she took over the phone call. And that's how I found out, outside on my own. And
wow.
Yeah.
So what does stage 4 mean?
Means it has spread to distant parts.
Okay.
Like, the crazy thing is that I had no symptoms. But now I look back and I think, was that a symptom? Like, I woke up a few times at night and I was sweating, but I'm getting to that age. I'm like thinking,
menopause.
Yeah, and I thought it was that.
Yeah.
And, there's a total overshare here, but you understand being a runner. Like, big runs, sometimes I'd have to do a sprint to the toilet, but I just put that down into runner's stomach. Maybe it wasn't, but there were no classical signs, and even my diet and everything is not one that is risk. And colon cancer and bowel cancer was always sort of, I hate saying, an old man's cancer. Not anymore.
So because I've had Alex Pledgett, the basketball player, on the podcast, and also Dean Barker.
Yeah.
They both got to the point where there was a lot of blood and the stool and stuff. Were you?
I did have bleeding, but I had a big baby. So I had a reason. I had 2 specialists say, you've got hemorrhoids. So that's what mine was put down to. And it was, total overshare. It was visible, that's what it was. But,
but the oversharing thing, it's not a pleasant thing to share or talk about.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important.
It is really, and the growth of, there's a friend of mine, we've banded together like this. She's 43, so she's just a little bit younger than me. She's got stage 4 colon cancer. She was diagnosed a month after me, and hers has spread to her lymphs through her stomach and chest. Again, Beck's fit, active. She was the head of PE at a private school in Hamilton, and it's like both of us, we're very lucky we've got each other because we vent to each other, and no one really knows what you're going through until you've been through it. And, both of us, our bodies have changed, we laughed, and I split my jeans this morning. I text her, I went, oh, fucking steroids. And then she's like, I tried to suck my gut in, I popped a blood vessel. We joke about it, and we can do that to each other. But it's just surreal that, 2 women like us are going through this with 0 symptoms.
Yeah, well, I think that just highlights that cancer doesn't discriminate.
So
you can do all the right things, the lifestyle factors and exercise and all that, but it's, if you're going to get the tap on the shoulder, you're going to get it on the shoulder. So, okay, so you collapse outside work. Then, what are the next, 48 hours or the next week?
Well, basically, my 2 workmates, they were incredible. Nikki, who was my boss, she actually rode with me and knew Mum and Dad and all that. So they picked me up, piled me in a car. I think they rang Mum and said, we're on our way. Jackie's had the results. And so Mum's on the phone to Dad and got Mum and Dad. We got to their house, and I actually don't remember much about it. it was like an out-of-body experience because, I understood what a scary territory I was in and what it's pretty bad when it's stage 4/advanced cancer. So Nikki and Frith basically explained it all to Mum and Dad, and they had to, here's Nick, who was coached by Dad, having to tell people she's known for 20 years that this is, her daughter's diagnosis. And I think we all just went into shock, and disbelief. And even now it still feels like a dream. Like I keep thinking...
Like someone else's dream.
Is my oncologist going to ring me and go, haha, just kidding.
Psych.
After 13 rounds of chemo, I'd probably bitch slap him good. But it was very blurry. I don't remember a lot. I stayed at Mum and Dad's for a week and I just think I was in total disbelief. And next thing I'm in, because I've got health insurance, and think, gosh, I've got health insurance, and it's worth it. It is worth what you pay. So I was in with an oncologist in no time, and when he first saw me and looked at my scans, he basically, I again got on Google and I talked to people. Straight away, as soon as I got it sunk in that, okay, this is happening, it's never come into my head, I'm going to die. I won't let it come into my head. I will not, I'm a tougher bitch than cancer. So
yeah, you definitely are. And we'll get into that. Did any of the oncologists or experts talk about life expectancy?
I won't ask him, and he won't. And I know Bex's oncologist has with her, and I said to her, I've always said we're not a stat, we're a person, and it's changing now, especially with bowel and colon cancer. Younger people are getting it. Maybe if I was 70, 80 and I got it, your life expectancy probably is 3 years. But, you look at someone like Di Henwood, who's 4 years on, still trucking on. But he basically said to me, you're on chemo for the rest of your life. And I was just like, and I said, what about surgery? Because I know your liver can regenerate. You can take away, up to 80% of your liver and it will regenerate, and mine bloody owes me. And he just said, no, not an option ever. And I just sat there and I actually remembered it then. I thought, who are you to tell me it's not an option? Because I'm stubborn. Yeah. And so that sort of thing, like, oh my God, and chemo to me, I thought, I'm going to lose my hair, I'm going to be really sick. And there are so many different types of chemo. He originally was going to put me on the one, I can't remember what it's called, because chemo brain, but it's basically the real strong one where you lose your hair. And and he was going to do that.
Quite aggressive.
Yeah, and I was straight away like, oh, and he goes, okay, we'll start you on the standard chemo they use because there's different ones for different cancers. But after Christmas, we will up it. And so I started on the one, and I have lost half my hair, it is a lot thinner. And then after Christmas, my first scan, he's like, yeah, we're going to keep you on this one, I'm happy. And because we talked about target therapy, different drugs, I'll get into that a bit more about how, the different type of drugs you can take for cancer. But and then again he goes, we don't need that. And then my last scan, there had been, for me who does not know how to read scans, I could see a huge difference. And I've got the photos of my two liver. And he actually talked about dropping one of the chemos. And I'm like, no, what's my chance of surgery? And he goes, not yet. And I went, oh, okay. He said, you just need more shrinkage, you need to, because there's two little tumours on my left side. If they went, they'd whack off my right side. But I would, my first scan after 4 rounds of chemo, it actually showed I had 2 specks of scar tissue on my spine. And I said to my oncologist, what's that? And he goes, that's cancer cells. If that was left, it would have gone into my spine. I would have been toast.
Oh, is that why you'll need to be on chemo for the rest of your life, just to sort of ring fence it? Or
basically,
is it to try and shrink it and get rid of it, or just to maintain it, or what?
Well, basically, they don't know. It's crazy. You look at me and Bex, we've both got stage 4 colon cancer. She's already on a target therapy because who's, and I'm not. Everyone responds differently, and my body is weird. I'm somebody who takes anti-nausea and vomits, so it's I've just responded really well to it. And at the clinic, you see people, there's a guy, he goes, see you in 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks he gets chemo. To me, my goal is still to shrink it enough that I can the surgeon can remove part of my liver and I can be cancer-free. That is my goal, and that's what I'm aiming for. And he went from, basically I said to my oncologist at the last meeting we had, I said, when you first saw me, because he's a hard case, little Alvin. And I said, did you think this girl's fucked? And he goes, yeah, it didn't look good. And I said, and now? And he goes, I'm really happy. So I'm like, okay, right. But I've had to change a lot. Food, water, everything, lifestyle. And I'm integrating everything, modern medicine plus, the more alternative stuff.
Although in saying that, like you say you had to, but you didn't have to, like you chose to, which I think is a good thing. I think it's Confucius of all people that had the quote, something like, if you're not your own doctor, you're a fool. Yeah. And it's like, you like doctors and oncologists, they have like 100 different patients they see, exactly. And they just give you basically a split second sort of diagnosis. But yeah, you need to be the CEO of your own fucking body. And that's what I like about you.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to share it on social media? You did this quite early, and it's been great. But I know a lot of people choose to do it differently. Like Dean Barker chose to wait until he was out of the woods before he even talked about it.
Because people are so scared to talk about it. They're so scared of chemo. Like, I remember movies, seeing people violently ill with chemo. Okay, chemos are not nice. The side effects I get do suck. And especially for someone who is so active like me. Going for a 2K walk now, I'm like, oh my God. And I used to run 20K a day as just a training run. But doctors don't want you being sick. They don't want you violently vomiting. They give you stuff like, while I'm on the chemo, I do take steroids and anti-nausea. Okay, steroids cause moon face and love handles, but I'd rather that than cancer. So they, chemo has this, it's a strong drug. It's hard. It is hard on the body, but it works. So don't be afraid of it. And that's what I want to say to people. This is cancer. It is scary. This is stage 4 cancer, which even is more scarier. But chemo, and doctors and medicine and everything I'm doing, I hope I help someone. And, if someone gets I've had lots of people reach out to me, and I just don't want anyone else to be in their mid-40s with a young child and get this diagnosis.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Or if they do get the diagnosis, to not be afraid.
Don't be afraid to speak and fight. You've got to fight for your health.
100%. So I've got this post here. How's your eyesight? It's quite a small font. I asked this because I'm on +1s these days.
Oh, I've got glasses. And honestly, chemo's another, we're like, chemo's the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. So this is the first post you shared. Do you want me to get my +1s out of the bed? Fuck it. How old are you? What are you? 40...
46.
46. So I'm 51. I got to like 48, 49, and I was saying to a friend, I'm like, my eyesight's still good. I think I've dodged it. She's like, no, nobody gets out.
No. Yeah. Oh, actually, since chemo, it was weary at chemo, but since chemo, it's like, so I have got my glasses in there.
Right. Can you read that? Otherwise, I can read it. This is the, Yeah. Do
you want me to read it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sometimes life throws you a decent curveball, and the best thing you can do is smack that motherfucking curveball out into the field and go for the home run, and that's what I'll do. Thank you to everyone who has reached out and contacted me, still processing the news and just wanting to spend time with my family to get my head around it all. Just wanted you to know I'm doing okay and I will beat this.
So that was like your first sort of public post.
Yeah.
It must have been when you press the send or post button on that, it must have been a weird... Did it feel like a relief, or was it like, here goes nothing?
I've always been quite open.
Yeah.
Like Mum always said to us growing up, I've got an older brother and younger sister, I'm a classic middle child. She always said, if you can't tell us, don't do it. So my brother was still secretive. My sister keeps things quiet, where I shared everything with Mum and Dad to the stage Mum was like, I don't want to know. So I just thought it's better to share it. It's better they hear it from me than Chinese whisperers. I live in Cambridge. It's a small town. I don't want people whispering and talking. I didn't want my closest friends to have to hear, because people think stage 4 is terminal. It's not terminal. It's not. You can still... A lot of people nowadays are getting cured or going into remission. It's not in-game. And that's what I just want to say to people. You fight, because your mind's stronger than any other thing in the body. So,
yeah, I think that's an important message, because when you hear stage 4, do people give you the sympathy eyes, like, oh, you're fucked?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah. Well, and if that's not the reality anymore, then that needs to be sort of demystified.
It isn't. Yeah, and there's so much, and there's overseas, there's so many options, and there's Mulligan Institute in Wellington, which is all immunotherapy, and like it's not funded, so if you go there you do have to pay, but hopefully the New Zealand government will wake up a bit. But there's all these options out there, and every year, and that's what I've said to Bex, we've just got to go, okay, we're going to make it a year, and new drugs will come out, right, make it another year, and then there's just new stuff coming all the time, and I'm prepared to hop on a plane and go wherever in the world if I have to live, because I have a 12-year-old boy. So,
Does it sort of feel like you're Indiana Jones, cancer's the big boulder behind you, and you're just trying to outrun it?
It does actually feel like that, and Mum and I were talking about it on the way up, and back in 2020, Mum had stage 4 breast cancer, so that was just before lockdown or after lockdown. And you do feel like you got a ticking time bomb, and Dad made the comment, he goes, God, cancer does take over your life, and it does. It's like you've got this, like to me, Mum says it's a ticking time bomb for her. I say it's like I've got this, I try and get on with life as normal and go for a walk, but there's this thorn in my shoe that I can't get out, and it's constantly there, and that's cancer, and that's the reality of living with a shitty disease like that.
Yeah, your mum's actually here today. She's sitting just on the sofa watching over us. So, the roles have reversed now. Like I've seen her in the background of a lot of your Instagram stories. She drove you up here today. Yeah, it must be surreal, because I suppose the way she's feeling now about you is exactly the same you were feeling about her 4 years ago.
It's just unbelievable. Like Mum's actually had thyroid and breast cancer, so she's a double whammy. And we sort of both of us go, seriously, like what the fuck? Give us a break. I lost my cousin 2 years ago to non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and it happened so quick. And it's like, just stop, come on, shit cloud, move on, we've had enough. But, Dad's the one, because somebody's seen Mum go through it, now he's seen me go through it, and Dad said to me after I was diagnosed, it should be me. It should be me, not you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you mentioned your mum before, so you got a son, Zach. How old's Zach?
Yeah, Zach's 12. He's non-verbal autistic, so it's been so hard on him. Me and his father had 50-50 custody, shared custody, and just because of the monster of chemo and all the fatigue, I try to have him as much as possible, but he's still not got that routine which kids on the spectrum love. Yeah, they crave. There's been a definite rule put in place that no one talks about my sickness to Zach except me. So when he stays, I go and lay with him and explain to him, because he understands everything, and that's the crazy things with kids with autism or people with autism. They're actually so bloody intelligent. So I explained to him that this is happening and Mum's having good results and she's sorry. So there's just things I've done, like I brought a motorhome so Zach and I can go away, because I can't go on a plane. I don't want to go into a hotel because the risk, because your platelets are low because you're getting blasted with chemo all the time, and you're at risk, like a paper cut will take weeks to heal type of thing. So I don't want to risk catching a cold or a flu or something like that and then delaying the chemo, because to me, I've got my mindset. I did have a week pushback just because I needed a mental break and I wanted my platelets to lift a bit. But I've learned to go, it's chemo. I love chemo. It's, I feel like, whoa.
Yippee.
A glass of wine, glass of wine or chemo. But to me, that's how because my second round, I was really anxious and I ended up really sick. I scared the nurses. I could not, I was actually vomiting a lot, but I also had a migraine. And that's when I learned too, because it was just before Christmas and they were giving out bits of fudge, and I had a bit of fudge and my body just went, nah. So I have not touched one bit of processed sugar since that day. I've cut off all processed sugar, all dairy, all gluten, no red meat, and my alkaline water. So, yeah.
God, what are you eating for fun?
Oh, honey. I've got a friend who does Manuka honey. That's my treat. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a terrible treat.
I love it. It's funny because I was never a huge Manuka honey fan. And it's like my body just loves it now. But, and I used to love chocolate, and I just look at it now and go, It's just weird what your body tells you, and you have to listen to it. So...
So how's Zach been through all this? You guys have both done a phenomenal job, by the way. Like kids are difficult at the best of times, but dealing with kids that have extra needs, it makes things tough.
It's been really hard on him. The school he goes to, Patricia Ave in Hamilton, which is a school for kids with special needs. They've been incredible. We're just doing half days of school now because his behaviour has escalated. Like any, I hate using this word, and I know it's not correct, but normal child would react to an ill parent.
100%.
Let alone a child with high sensory needs. And his little face lights up when he comes to me, and I've just had to change stuff. Like I used to go for runs and he would bike with me, or would go for big bike rides, and I was always the real active go one. So now I've got electric scooters for us and electric bikes, so I can do stuff with him. And the motorhome, which he calls in an RV because he's got an iPad which he types to talk, so he's always like, and it's like a very American RV, and I'm like, no, you've got to go to school. So it has been really hard on him, but
I suppose it's hard because for 12 years you've put all your sort of energy and resources into him, and now it's like
I've got to put it into me. You
can't do that. You got to.
I've got to put it into me, and it's so hard on me because my life has been, like Zach's my life, and that's the reason I'm fighting so hard for this. But I have to be selfish and fight and put myself first. And like when I had him 3 days this week and 4 days, and then when he goes to school on the bus, I'll have a sleep for an extra few hours and get ready because we're just doing half days of school just to help him. And it's awful, and I know he's hurting, and I know he's probably scared too. And
do you try and put on a brave face, or are you quite sort of honest with him?
I'm very honest. Like I show him my port, and he has seen me when I have chemo attached. I don't really like having him around when I've got tubes and this toxic bloody stuff on me, but I show him, and if he does get a bit like bargy or like kids on the spectrum, like if they want to do something, they're doing it, I have to show them, remember, mummy's not well, and he does respond, but I don't hide it from him. I wouldn't, I suppose I've been really lucky. I haven't been violently vomiting, except for that one incident, but I know how to fix him because we used to do so much, and we're out going for tramps and walks and biking and running, and now a lot of the time when he comes, I'm laying on the bed and we're watching a movie, or he'll do Lego and I'll just lay beside him. So it is hard.
Yeah.
But you just got to love them. You just got to shower them with as much love as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you realise Zach was on the spectrum, or there was something not quite?
Zachy, actually, Mum and I were talking about the other day. He just had just a bloody rough little life. You think he was constantly getting ear infections. So again, I was in denial. I didn't know a lot about autism I knew a bit about ADHD.
You wouldn't, would you?
Well, because Eric seems a little bit ADHD. So we knew a little bit about it.
I think all of us are on some sort of spectrum
that's true,
somewhere.
Actually, we are. Yeah. And he sort of probably around the age of, he kept getting ear infections. Ended up, he had a growth on his middle ear bone called a colorectal, and they're quite rare. And he had to have a 4-hour surgery or something, and I just thought, maybe he's not talking because he couldn't hear properly, and so they did that and all that, and then he did start saying some words, and then they just sort of stopped, and then his eye contact, he'd only have eye contact with people he knew, like me, Eric, Mum, Dad, and Eric's parents, but even that was, it was more me and Eric, and Mum was very hands-on because Eric been away. So she was like the living nanny too. And it was probably about 3, I'd say, that the daycare was like, look, he just wasn't developing. But again, the spectrum's like this, and physically he's just, he's so strong and capable. But it was the vocab and the eye contact, and he didn't really do the classic lining stuff up and all that. But so it was probably about the age of 3-ish.
And what about the future? What does that hold? Is it going to get better?
Don't know. Like at the moment, he's full of hormones, pre-teenage. So of course he's like a raging bull at times, and other times he's my little lamb. So, and it can change like that. I don't know. Sometimes like he'll just say stuff like, he'll just come out with words, and you're like, oh, good words. He's a few times when Mum's tried to get him to do something he doesn't want, and he's sworn at her, and she's like, great words, Zachy, but don't say that to me, but we don't know.
So he picks up the good words.
Oh, yeah, he picks up the good words.
Does he?
Oh, he picks up the good words.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he can communicate.
He can. It's quite funny, his voice, how much it's changed. Like, he at the moment, French fries from McDonald's. We're very lucky. He eats really well. He's got his dad's appetite. He's a good eater, and he loves his French fries. And it's a treat. Mum takes him, and he's got his iPad. And he's like, French fries, and you're like, oh. So, and then Mum goes, do you want 1 or 2? And he's like, 2. This real deep voice, 2. And it's like, oh, you can have 1, no, 2. So
wow, that's such a hard and complex thing to understand.
But we can read and we know what he wants, and having which the school does his app, and he'll just type in like, I want, normally it's food related or the RV, but if he wants to go scootering, or there's photos of us, he wants to go to Nana's, or so that's been great. But it is really hard, and it must be bloody hard for him. Like,
well, frustrating, eh?
Yeah, and he gets angry, and the worst thing is, we have noticed since he gets really frustrated. He bites his hand. It's like that. And he's actually got calluses there now, and it just breaks my heart, because you just want to, being a mum or a parent, you just want to take that frustration and pain and take it away.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We don't know the future's going to bring. He could, the penny could just drop, and he could find something that's just he's so into, and he loves photography. Go for a walk, and there's about 1,000 photos on my phone, and and but who knows? We don't know It's like a crystal ball. None of us know.
Yeah, well, some friends of mine have a son that was severely autistic, like to the point where he couldn't be around other people. He had his texture book thing at night time and couldn't speak. Now he's in his early 20s, and he's if you don't know he's autistic, he just seems like slightly off, like a slightly awkward man.
Yeah.
But he's bloody great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they are. They're so clever. So, Zach can remember a house he lived in when he was 1.5. God, I get lost coming up to Auckland. I've got no sense of direction. They've got this. He's got this photographic memory, and but it's interesting now. I know a lot of it, about autism and all that. You meet people, and I can sort of pick it in people now. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And his favourite swear words. What do they begin with?
He's used the F1 a few times, hasn't he? Yeah. He's used the F1.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. And
he's not speaking, but he's got the
and it's clear as day.
Got the good ones.
It's clear as day. To the stage you sort of go, what? So yeah.
I reckon that's coming from the time at Dad's house. I reckon.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely not
Mother
from Mum.
doesn't swear.
Okay, so there's a post from May 15. So was this last week? Chemo week.
Oh, yeah.
This is a really long one. I found this really, really insightful. So that you say, and that makes it round 12.
Yep.
Thought I'd give you a rundown on the side effects of chemo. So you have chemo every second Thursday?
Every second Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, yeah. Okay.
So you go in, they put the chemo into your port.
There's my little port there.
Right.
So you can see that bump. It goes in the middle there. So there's a little, like a valve under my skin.
That looks like just a scar. I sort of imagine
it's just above it. There's a little hard thing. And they put it, so that way your veins, because I had it in my arm at first, the PICC line, because they wanted to get, there was a wait list for this, and they wanted to get the chemo on me quick. But you couldn't get your arm wet. It was such an ice or this big thing on your arm. So basically, when it's the tube goes up here and runs all the way, it goes to the artery quite close to your heart, a big main artery. Where now it's just boom to there. So and I can hide it, I can swim with it, I can shower with it, I can live life normally with it. So that's the port.
So you go in to get chemo, how long are you in for?
Oh, normally 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours.
Like charging up an EV.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's a good way to put it.
So and then so what does it feel like when it goes in?
Nothing. Can't feel anything. No. Okay. I put a numbing patch on that. I forgot last time and it hurt. They're fantastic. I go to a place called Salutis Care in Hamilton. It's because I've got health insurance. It's a private one. The nurses are just amazing. So they go in, you have to have bloods every 2 weeks, because if my platelets are low or anything like that, they won't do chemo if your platelets, I think, are under 80. Mine was sitting around 84 for so long, and then I just bumped it a week and it went up to 119. So I just needed that break. But that's another thing. I'm always at them. I want to see my bloods. I want to know. They print it out now. I want to know my tumour markers. I want to know what my liver's doing. And I don't know what the hell I'm reading, but I want to know.
You're taking active interest. Yeah, but patients like you, I wonder if they think, oh God, she's a pain in the ass, or if they appreciate it. I think they'd probably appreciate it, right?
They probably do. With the tumour markers is the thing that really surprised me. When I was first diagnosed, you've got there's so many different tumour markers, but the two for colon and bowel cancer are the ones I get tested for. And I think one of them has a bit to do with the liver too. And I think the first one, normal, you would be under 5. I was 790.
Oh.
And the other one, a healthy person like yourself with no cancer, would be under 37. I think he said I was 1,000, wasn't I? Or I was 1,700, wasn't it?
Jeepers.
So I was pretty screwed. So every month I have them done, and my last one, the one that should be 5 was 35, and the one that should be 35 is 74.
Oh, so down considerably.
Hugely.
So when the chemo's going in, you just play on your phone or read a book or...
Yeah, Netflix or, talk to mum or play on my phone. Or I talk to the nurses and, you develop such a good relationship with them. They're such incredible women, so...
And then you're can you drive yourself home or do you feel
No,
sick?
they give me a happy drug. I've done it once.
You've gone from being drug-free your entire life to being...
And I get, fill me up with... No, they give you, so you go and you have your 2 steroids and then you get, I can't think what it's called, it's a happy pill, it's a relaxant and all that, and it just sort of makes you go, whew. And the one time I did drive, Mum has always been there with me and gone through every chemo clinic, Mum's been every scan, every chemo session, every specialist, Mum's been there. Mum dropped me off at home and I think, I can't remember what, we had to go in and get Zach, there'd been a miscommunication or something, and I couldn't get hold of Mum and I was like, shit, so I just jumped in my car and I thought, I'm not driving all the way to Hamilton, I'll go get Mum first because she's only just up there. And I was hitting roundabouts and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? I'm like, I felt like Mr. Magoo. Remember Mr. Magoo?
The old cartoon.
That's what I felt like. And then I said to my nurse, I drive. She goes, oh, don't drive. Do not drive on those pills because you just, I thought I was fine, but I was banging into the roundabout. I'm like, what the hell?
So like you're driving drunk in a way.
Totally. Yeah.
So, this is another post you shared. So this was December 7, first chemo day. You want to read that out?
God, I need my glasses.
I can go and grab you the plus ones if you need.
Today marks the start of the toughest journey of my life. Anxiety levels have been through the roof and I have definitely gone into the Jackie cave to try and work through all this. How can someone so fit, healthy, runs marathon, have stage 4 cancer and 0 symptoms? But being a fit, healthy person is going to help me fight this. Today is my first day of chemo and the pump stays on me for 46 hours. Even though I'm so scared, I will fight this with everything I've got. I won't leave any... Sorry. It's the exact thing. I won't leave any rock unturned. My strength comes from my darling little boy, Zach. Mummy is going to beat this, my baby. Also, thank you for all your messages and support. I'm so lucky to be surrounded by such amazing people. Fuck you, cancer. Time to vacate. You nasty shit. A special thanks goes out to my amazing support angels who have wrapped their wings around me in these past few weeks. My amazing parents, Gary and Sharon, my brother and sister Brooke and Dane, Nick and Frith, my counsellors, Alana, Robin, Joe, Renee, and last but definitely not least, my absolute bestie Mandy. You are really my backbone and I love you endlessly.
Yes. Yeah. Is it tough to reflect on that?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's just... It's still, as I said, it seems surreal. It seems like it's a bad dream and... Yeah, it seems like a really bad dream. And, when I think of Zach, and I want to be there to see him grow up. He needs his mum.
Yeah.
So.
But you must be proud. You think about how how scared you were of the unknown then, and now you're 12 rounds?
Yeah,
12 rounds
13 next week. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now I'm like, chemo. Chemo, coffee.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so chemo. Yeah, in this big post you did last week, you said, firstly, it's not as scary as in the movies. Yeah, it's not fun, but the doctors don't want you violently sick, so there's meds to help that. Yeah. I found this really interesting, just demystifying all these
it is,
things about cancer. Fatigue is like nothing I've experienced. Running a marathon is a breeze.
Oh, it is. Like, you run a marathon, your body aches and you're sore, but you've got the endorphins and all that. You don't have the endorphins with chemo fatigue. It will just hit you. But I have learned that going for little walks helps with fatigue, fresh air and all that. But yeah, it's probably 3 days after the pump comes off. You just need days, nana naps. But I'm
for 3 days.
Yeah, probably 3. Yeah, because chemo stays in your body for about 7 days.
So we're recording this 8 days after your last round. Is this sort of like the sweet spot? Do you have a window that's?
It's because it's. I can't pronounce it. It's chemo brain. It builds up in your system. I'm trying to think of the word, but now it's not there. The more rounds you have, the more the side effects, like the tingling in my hands and feet and in the tip of my tongue and all that, that's probably got worse. I've been so lucky with the nausea. I've put it down to, it's sort of like morning sickness. If I let myself get hungry, I'm like, oh, I feel a bit sick. But I know what to eat and what to not eat. And but it's sort of 7 days out, that's when everything leaves your body. Your body I sometimes get migraines because the steroids are gone and this is gone, but you just manage it.
Is that what the steroids do? Are they like pain relief?
They take out the inflammation in the body because,
of course,
chemo causes inflammation and all that, so it takes that out. So you only take them for 4 days, so just 2 in the morning.
Right.
But, yeah.
The chemo I'm on, you don't lose your hair, but it thins a lot. I had a lion's mane. Now I kind of feel like Dr. Evil's cat.
Yeah.
Your hair looks fine, though.
Do you want to know? There's clip-ins in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like to cover up?
It's not bald spots, it just thins.
Right.
So you go through it I did have thick hair. And it's all starting to grow back. My cousin put me onto this incredible woman who's a wellness practitioner, and she's a cancer survivor and survived a really aggressive cancer 10 years on, and she's got me on all the right practitioner grade supplements. So now it's all growing back, but again, good old chemo, it's growing back white. Not even growing white, so I've got all this regrowth of white hair, and I'm like, oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah, like your mum. Is that natural?
That's natural.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah.
Oh, well, look, your mum's beautiful.
Exactly.
Numbness in your hands or feet, and now the tip of my tongue. Cold water feels like electric shocks. Trying to take something out of the fridge is torture. What do you mean, like holding it?
Well, basically the tips of your fingers. There's a word for it again. Sorry. But it's like all the time you got slightly pins and needles, or they're just a little bit numb, and you go to grab something out of the fridge, and honestly, it's like freezer burn on your fingers, and you're just like, oh. And drinking iced chilled water, the nerves in your throat, it's like they contract, and it feels like they're closing over, and you can't breathe. But you can, but it's just everything's. And the hands are getting better, but the cold weather's brought on the feet. And I was just walking down Ponsonby Road and I tripped, and Mum's like, "You all right?" And I was like, "Fucking feet."
It's amazing because you never hear about this stuff. No one tells you about this stuff. Yeah,
it's very, very common. The tip of my tongue is just weird. But again, it's funny because Becky, I'm 2 or 3 rounds ahead of her, so I'm always like, this is a new side effect. Like the great thing I had a wee while back, I think it was after round 8, I got good old oral thrush, so my mouth is just like cotton wool. And I message her going, oh my gosh. And then she's like, thank God I haven't had that. 3 weeks later, she goes, you'll never guess what I've got. So we've sort of laughed with each other, but we just go, it's the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah, with every round, there's another surprise.
Yeah.
Like another layer to unwrap. The next point you bring up in this post from May 15 is chemo brain, which you've mentioned a couple of times today. Worse than being a blonde. Offensive. You can say it. I can't. You forget things mid-sentence. Thinking clearly and concentrating is hard.
Yeah, like honestly, you'll be talking and it's like someone has just gone, pause, and you're like, shit, what was I just saying? or the word's right there, but you can't remember how to say the word.
Because a lot of people, a lot of women experience things like this during pregnancy, right? Like baby brain. Did you have it with Zach at all, or is it different?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think I did.
Maybe not.
No. Like, it's just nuts. Like, I've been going to a restorative therapist who works on breathing and yoga poses and different, and she's been incredible for my stress levels. Like, I don't think I would have got through a lot of this without her. And a lot of time I'm talking to her, and then I just stop, and she knows totally what's happened. Then I'm like, yeah, okay, can we change the subject? I can't even remember what I was talking about. And it's sort of, we laugh. Like, a lot of the time it happens to Mum, and Mum's been finishing my sentences because she's going to be my driver and my translator soon.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Does she ever get it wrong? Are you like, no, Mum, that's not what I... The next one, bowel motions, constipation or diarrhea. This is usually caused by the anti-nausea and steroids. I have only had severe constipation at the start of treatment. Wow, it was so bad. And it happened...
Got a pump bottle there.
Okay, this is oversharing. Mum, sometimes you think the Instagram stuff's too much? No. And it happened late at night. That's when the pump bottle came in handy. What does that mean? Pump bottle came in handy as there's no after hours.
Well, I didn't have an enema.
Oh my God. So you like hot water?
No, I think we just
blasted.
That's when you know your mother loves you.
Oh my God. Oh, did your mum do it? Really?
Yeah.
So blast some...
You try something that on your
Jesus, you guys have a good relationship.
Oh, we have a great relationship. Great relationship. But yeah, it was like, I was sort of half... Well, the funny thing is, I was at Mum and Dad's and it was bad. And now I've learned to manage it and all that, and it was so bad. It was so painful, and I was like, I know this is so gross, but it was just sitting there, and I was like, oh my God, I can't go. And I was in agony, and we didn't have a pump bottle, so Dad brings out this, he'd cleaned it, an old dishwashing liquid bottle, and we're like, that's not going to work. So Mum races off to the petrol station, comes back with pump bottles, and basically I'm in the toilet going, and she goes, right, bend over. Off we go. Worked.
God, that is beyond the call. How old is your mum?
Oh.
What are you? 60s?
Coming up 72.
Coming up 72. Yeah, you think, you know,
she thought she was over
the nappy phase is over with. You think you're out of the woods. But you never saw this in your life. Oh. Wow.
So
Dad's out of the room. Dad doesn't want part of this.
Just like...
Dad had to what?
He's done it to Mum before,
okay.
so she passes on everything to me.
Okay.
So we like
well,
it was
this is a really good family dynamic, though.
It is like
cool.
it's it's a horrible bitch of a disease, but it really shows you who loves you and cares for you, and of course your parents do, but. We did laugh about that. Like, once it was over, I was a bit like, oh my God. But, once it was over, we've had a few good laughs about it. Like, and you got to laugh because it takes so much joy out of your life, and you're living with this horrible, which my workmate first calls it rust. You know, you want to get that rust out of your body. But yeah, like we did have a good laugh about that, and but now definitely kiwi fruit's my best friend. I don't want to go through that again, and I haven't drunk out of a pump bottle since.
Yeah, because I mean, you can laugh your way through it, and as they say, if you don't laugh, you're gonna fucking cry.
Yeah.
And you've got a great relationship with your parents, and they're there for you, but you're still like this, you know, fiercely independent and driven, women. So from a like a pride perspective, like, you know, must be embarrassing.
I actually wasn't embarrassed at all. I just wanted it to be.
I just wanted to pull out.
I just wanted to go. I was like, just make it work. So we did tell my oncologist, didn't we? And he was like, oh, how about I give you some tablets for that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he really liked the idea that we were doing that, but needs must.
I had severe constipation in my teens, and it's what I imagined pregnancy to be like. It was like the worst gut pain imaginable, eh?
Oh, it's horrible.
Just awful.
Yeah, but I haven't, touch wood, had it since then, so...
The next thing, as we move on
what else
from the constipation, it's so interesting because, and it's not something that we should, I think, shy away from because, You know, I think awareness with this sort of stuff is key. That's good. Taste buds are dead. Everything tastes kind of the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Like, you know, basically I'm quite much a plant-based diet now. And I have brought fresh salmon and I'll have organic free-range chicken, but I'm really, really careful with what I'm eating. And when I actually met Mum and Dad's come in there quite a bit, and, you know, when I'll cook and they'll go, try it. And Mum goes, well, what do you think it tastes like? I mean, it tastes the bloody same to me, but it honestly does. And that's why I think I love my Manuka honey so much, because it's such a strong flavour, I get a taste. But, yeah, you're just like, even now, it's just a weird feeling in your mouth. It's just, it has to be a pretty strong flavour for me to go, oh, I taste that. So
you and your mum went out for lunch just before coming here today. What did you eat?
I had cauliflower soup. Yeah. And it was good. I actually could taste, you know, I was like, there's some spices in this. But again, you know, I'm that person at a restaurant, the person I used to go, to, like, say is there no gluten in it, no dairy in it, is, you know, like, and I won't even drink their water because I only drink certain water. I'm right into my juices now because there's been a lot of studies, especially green juices. But yeah, I am that person at a restaurant that people go, oh.
Shit, you're doing all the right things, aren't you?
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. You know, like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
I miss cheese. Gosh, I miss cheese. And, you know, I found out from my friend who's that health practitioner, she said, you know, you can have goat feta or goat cheese. And so that was like a treat. It's disgusting, but it's like a treat. It's like, oh, yum, goat feta. But, yeah, and, you know, really lucky there's, you know, that beautiful Raglan coconut yogurt. Thank God I like that because interesting is dairy is one of the probably worst things for cancer too. So, yeah.
Wow. The next one was, this is something you brought up already, mouth ulcers, lip burns, and good old oral thrush. What does that mean? Just
basically
a mouthful of...
I've been really lucky because the first thing that the nurses said to me, salt water, baking soda, mouth rinse when you're in chemo, because for some reason you just get ulcers. Becky, who I've talked about a lot, she has continuously got like burns on her lip. I had it maybe the first 2 rounds and I thought, oh God, great, I'm getting cold sores now. But it wasn't, and there I've just learnt to manage it now, and I've learnt the stuff that works and that doesn't. Oral thrush was just disgusting.
What's that?
Basically, it's a yeast build-up, I think, in your mouth, and because my immune system's so toast, and that's why I'm on all these supplements now to build your gut health is so important. If your gut's not right, and chemo does blast everything. And yeah, my mouth, you poked my tongue out and was like white, and it sounds gross, but it looked furry, and it was just like I had cotton wool in my mouth. So I know a lot of babies get it. So I treated that, and then I just manage it now. And
then cuts that won't heal.
Oh,
a small paper cut will bleed like a bitch and take 2 weeks to heal.
Oh, it's such a pain. But that's, again, your platelets and all that are low. And I'll keep knocking that. But it's just such a pain. Like, you just scratch yourself and you bleed and bleed and bleed. I'm like, oh, you can stop now. But, yeah, it's just one of those things. But that's the joys of chemo and cancer patients. You just have to be so careful. So...
Steroids. Oh, hello, Moonface and love handles. You look all right. Are you quite self-conscious about it? Do you think you've bloated up quite a bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Just when I split the arse of my jeans this morning. I think because I'd gone from that runner's body, you know, like everything was toned and I had abs and that I always say the runner's bum, which is that aerial taunt bum, and now it's like I feel like freaking a saggy elephant, but it's probably more me. And I have put on probably 4 or 5 kg, but it's better I'm going that way than going down, you know, and that's what the nurses go, we'd rather you put on weight than lose weight. But I think you miss, like, I miss that, I know it sounds vain, but that runner's body, because you do, you know, like, it's funny, we looked at my scan when I first got it, and they do back view and front view of the CT scan, and like you could see like your skin around the outside of your body, and I had nothing. There was nothing there. And then the last one, it was like these love handles, and I'm like, what the hell's that? I must have been wearing extra tight pants. You know, like.
It's funny, because it's like from outside appearances, like anyone that was at the cafe that you guys were just at, no one would be able to tell that you're going through anything. Yeah,
it is crazy, and that's a crazy thing, you know, like. Bex and I are doing an article for Women's Day because it's Bowel Cancer Month next month, and both of us, like, they said to us, oh, do you have a photo of you when you have chemo and looking sick? And I'm like, we don't look sick. we don't look sick. For us, we, you know, like Mum always says, you know, there are days when I went to Mum's house and I spent 3 days in bed, I was just wiped. And, you know, I do. Every morning I still get up and check my eyes to make sure they're not yellow because I've got tumours in my, you know, liver. I'm terrified I'm going to end up with jaundice, but, you know, chances are it won't. But we don't look sick. But, and that's the scary thing with, especially this colon cancer in under 50s, it's getting diagnosed really late and people look really healthy.
Yeah. But you weren't diagnosed late, though. Were you? You weren't diagnosed late. You were.
Well, I had blood tests in 2022 and everything was perfect.
Yeah.
And then I had blood tests in 2023 and my liver's... So I have no idea how long... Like, basically the tumour in my colon, because I had the colonoscopy and all that, was just on about 3 centimetres. It's 40 centimetres into my colon. And the rest of my colon is, if you could say a picture perfect colon, it is. There's no other polyps. It's just this one freaking mushroom. And even that, it didn't even look that angry. And then I'm like, well, how can this, you know, you hear of people who have 12 centimetre tumours that don't spread. And I said to my oncologist, why? Why did I have this one, and it's quite a clean tumour, decide to go and have a good massive party in my liver? And he's like, it just takes one little cell. And because you got the portal vein that runs that area, and he said it's the most common place it'll spread is to the liver. And I just, you know, at times I've gone, bloody fucking ungrateful body, you know, like, I've looked after you so well. Yeah. This is how you thank me.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you do feel like that. And, you know, my Instagram post, you know, I'm putting on this real plate. But there are times I crumble and I cry. And I've been, you know, on the phone to Mum absolutely beside myself. And I can't. And there are times when I go, and it's just venting because I'll never give in. But it's like, I can't keep fighting this. I don't want this. You mourn your old life. And it's the best way. It's like, you've lost your old life, things you took for granted, you wish you hadn't now, and it definitely puts life into a whole new perspective and what's important in life, you know. To be honest, I used to go and get Botox and all that. It's like, oh, shit, growing old's a privilege. You know, I'd never do that now. Who cares if I've got wrinkles? And, you know, I'll be happy if I can live to a ripe old age, so, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
I think another good takeaway from this is just the importance of, like basically being the CEO of your own body and doing your own research. It seems like you've spent a lot of time online and.
Oh, I have. At the stage that Mum actually said, "Can you please start reading a book to give yourself a break like from cancer, reading up about that." And also, like, for instance, a bit of background with bowel cancer. Bowel cancer is the second biggest killer of cancer in New Zealand behind lung, and it's been over 20 years since any new funded drugs have come in. So there's people dying of bowel cancer because they can't afford to pay for the drugs. You know, like some of these drugs are 60 grand a year, and if they can't afford it, you're dead. And it's wrong. It makes me actually quite angry because it's like, you know, that's not fair. It's really not fair that because, you know, even if you have health insurance, it still doesn't cover the whole amount. And if these, you know, like 9,500 people die of cancer a year in New Zealand. We're one of the highest rates per head of population. Why? You know, why? Why is this happening in New Zealand? Why are so many more people die of cancer than on the road? And it's just freaking scary. And the stuff I've learned, and I've talked to the Bowel Cancer Society, have been incredible. Like they send out little funding packages. Like they gave me $150 towards groceries, or you can have it towards petrol and like just stuff like that. Where actually me and Becky, along with my friend Renee, who's a designer of Mizzou, it's a New Zealand label, which the t-shirt is here. She's doing a Jack and Beck's range, and it's all of these t-shirts, and they're 100% Pima cotton, which is from Peru, and it's Jack and Beck's collection, and 50% of the proceeds are going to bowel cancer research. And Renee goes, I want to do this. So yeah, Bex and I are going to be the front of that, and it's just like we need to push bowel cancer because it's growing so much, and the screening, like bowel cancer screening, you know, it's like over 60, I think. Well, why isn't it younger? Because there's more. I think I read somewhere, could be wrong, but it's been a 70% increase in under 50 cancers. That's fucking scary.
Wow. Is it a diet thing or a lifestyle thing? What is it?
Well, it's what, you know, that's another thing me and my friend Google. I'm like, what is it? You know, Is it our water? Is it our food? Is it the pesticides we're spraying? And is it, like, what is it? But we just don't know. It's just, and it's scary. Because if it's going to continue to grow, what's Zach's generation, the generation after him? And, like, the New Zealand government needs to bring more funded drugs in because, I'm prepared to go to Australia. I'll go into Australia and get what I need to get over there and pay what I have to because they're so advanced. They're one of the leaders in cancer research in the world. So I'm prepared to do whatever, but you shouldn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, cancer's picked the wrong person. You do love there's that saying that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you're the squeaky wheel. Like when you and Eric were together and Zach was young, you did a lot to raise awareness of autism. And Eric was on Dancing with the Stars, raising money for. He wasn't on very long, maybe longer than what he should have been. Yeah, he took it quite seriously, eh?
Oh, he's very competitive.
Yeah. So that was then, and now, like the work that you'll do, with colon cancer, bowel cancer, is just as important, if not more important. And
it is. It's so important. It's, and I'll fight for it because I don't want other people going through this. If I could help someone, just one person. If they get this, to get it at stage 1 or 2, that's a win. Because, stage 4, it's not a death sentence, but it means your fight's a lot harder. And, you bring it on, cancer.
You're up for it? You're up for the fight?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. To me, dying's not an option. It's definitely not an option. And as I said, my end goal is getting my liver chopped into, sliced and diced. So I just have to keep my body as healthy and happy and stress-free as possible, so when the time comes, and it will come, the surgeon in Auckland can go, right, let's do it. Let's cut that shit out of your liver and go on and live a happy life.
I love the positivity.
I have to be positive.
100%. But a lot of people, they get bad news like this and it overwhelms them.
It's definitely, it still does. As I said, there are times and I ring Mum up and I'm a mess and I'm crying and like, why me? And there is a time you go, why the hell me? But then I think everyone with cancer goes, why me? It's just as you said, it doesn't discriminate. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. Nothing you can do can stop that. But there are times, and I think what I've learned, is to let yourself cry, to let yourself absolutely, like I've sat on the floor of the shower and I've been sobbing hysterically because it's releasing all that. You don't want to hold it in. Don't hold anything. If you want to scream, scream. If you want to throw things. I remember actually after I saw the oncologist the first time and Mum and Dad took me home and I was carrying a water bottle and I just got this rush of anger and I just threw the water bottle and it smashed into a tree. Dad picks up the water bottle. It's not the tree's fault. I don't think Dad knew what to say. And I just sort of looked at him and I just went inside and then Mummy. So Dad picks up the bottle and I'm just, if you just want to vent, just vent, because if you hold it in, it's just going to eat away at you and that's more toxic than anything. So
were you quite an emotional person before the diagnosis or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sort of eye-rolling and nodding. Okay.
I've always been one, if I'm upset, people know, and I never, if I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
But I've always been really stubborn, and I call it pig-headed, and I think that's going to be to my benefit, that it's going to be like, nah, you're not taking me, you bastard.
Yeah, so it's been, say, 6 months or 7 months since you got the diagnosis. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I am actually. Sometimes I pat myself on the back, and Mum's always saying to me, I'm so proud, you're doing so well, and you're handling it, and it's, I've just got surrounded by such incredible people, and just recently, because I've been horsey crazy since I could walk, and my best mate, she's like, right, get out here, we're going for a ride. And so it was the best thing for me. You just got to remember why you're fighting this, because it does consume you. And that's why going for that ride and just being back to Jackie again was the best thing for me. Because in going to the beach, like I took Zach, there's an organisation called Surface Healing, and They're a charitable organisation. They take kids with autism surfing, and we took Zach over to the mountain. It was just so beautiful watching his little face light up as he got pushed around on a longboard. He was a pretty lazy surfer. It was like, just push me, peasant. But, you just got to remember, and you just got to, why you're fighting this. And remember the beauty, life's precious and a gift, and, don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. I think that's probably a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great chat. You messaged me about doing the podcast. Like, that's how much you want to spread the word about cancer and early detection and spreading awareness, which I think is really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really, it's not for everybody. Everybody's different. Like Dean Barker, he chose not to say anything about it until he was out of the woods, and actually he chose not to even tell his wife about it until the bloodness still got very, very bad.
I think that's a man thing, because actually my friend's husband who had colon cancer, he was sort of the same, and she was like, "What the hell? How long's this been going on?" I think that's sort of, I hate to say it, but men sort of, they want to fix it. They don't want to. Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe that about Dean. I said, she's your wife, and he goes, yeah, but it's not a fun thing to talk about, but I think people like you being out there and being prepared to talk about it's really cool.
Yeah.
So thanks heaps.
That's all right. Thank you.
And good luck for everything. Who's driving home, Mum?
Oh, I drive the first part on the motorway because Mum hates Auckland traffic, and then once it gets to a bit more spread out, she jumps in and gets the massage seat going, and off she goes.
You two, on the way back to Hamilton now. Thelma and Louise.
Thank God there's no cliffs.
All right. Hey, Jackie, good luck for everything, eh?
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you.